Hey everyone. Um, Bit of a slow start today. I've had kind of a long day, but a good day. Um, so my last stream was about moldable development in Glamorous Toolkit, and that was Thursday. And then the creators of Glamorous Toolkit watched that show, and Tudor Girba, the CEO of Think, who makes the toolkit, reached out to me and gave me a lesson this morning. So I actually we scheduled some time, and this morning we had like a little talk, or he gave me kind of an in-depth kind of walkthrough and some feedback based on the you know the what I had done basically, the mistakes that he had seen and the things that I could have improved. So I actually got kind of a really good lesson, and it's really motivated me to continue working on on some Smalltalk stuff today. And also, I wanted over the weekend, I spent some time working on making just the barest implementation of an API, RESTful API for Bex. Probably not going to go into that today because what I really want to work towards is making some kind of visual environment, right? Kind of the idea behind why I'm working on Bex, right? I basically have two projects that I work on the channel. Well, lots of little things, but the two big things are, one is JPrez, which is a tool for making presentations, and then Bex, which is a tool for working with giant Boolean expressions. And the reason that I'm working on those two things is they're both kind of converging towards a future goal of making one reason that making a course on programming and computer science, where I want to do some presentations and I want to have these algorithms that are talking about bits and how you would do solving problems, right? That's not my only motivation, but that's one motivation. And in particular, one of the things, I started this streaming stuff because, like 2 years ago, because I was at a point where, I really wanted to make scripted videos and I was blocked, right? And I was blocked by animation. And I got into, one of the reasons I was looking at Glamorous Toolkit back then was I was looking for like a nice interactive environment to make animations. And one of the things that drew me to Smalltalk in general and to Pharo and to Glamorous Toolkit in particular is is this, right? These graphics. And oh, hang on one second. Okay, I just wanted to make double, triple sure that I was actually live. I'm still paranoid that YouTube is eating my videos because the screen in front of me didn't say that it was live. Okay, I'm good. Anyway, so these right here are some screenshots. This is OneNote. So these are just some notes I took years ago before Glamorous Toolkit had its own note-taking and documentation system. So I stuck basically 2 years ago, I stuck these drawings that I made. They're not actually drawings, just drawings. They're actually interactive. And so I'm going to try and get them working again tonight. And this one in particular is very much related to Bex. These are bits, right? So this is what I had pictured and still kind of picture in my mind when I think of the video I want to make, or the videos that I want to make that deal with bits, right? And talking about like what bits are and like how you can use them and how you can use them to create numbers and that kind of thing. So I had this particular aesthetic, just really simple, circles with those particular shades of colors and that particular background. And I am kind of thinking now about maybe actually animating them a little bit, making like little cartoon faces or something, jazzing it up a little bit. But this is the kind of the fundamental like picture that I want to present, where you have these things moving around and like forming little groups and some lines coming between them. Actually, you may have seen this on my Twitter or you know, I think it's the backgrounds of at least some of my social media pages, other than Twitter. It's this diagram that I made of a binary decision, or actually, this is I guess it would be a fully expanded binary decision diagram, and this is kind of like let me show you what I made here. This is where would I go here to see this? JSFiddle. JSFiddle.net. What are the odds that it's the right one? No. So if I go to Tangent Storm, one of these in here is going to be, you know, JSFiddle is a little place where you can feature net. That same aesthetic. This one right here. So the idea is that this is the, oh, that's interesting. You have a console now. I don't know if you can see that. You can't see that, but my head's in the way, but as always, there's a little console there now. So anyway, no, my head's still in the way. All right, so you know, this is the fully expanded you know, binary tree here. So this is representing an input. Can I make this bigger? Nope. Not really letting me make it bigger. But anyway, just take my word for it. This is a this is representing a you know, this blue node is representing a variable, and then it branches to the orange variable. And you can see there's like a dotted line for the low branch and a solid line for the high branch. Really surprised I can't make that bigger. Make it. No, I can make it bigger, but it. How's that? But yeah, but then you still can't see the thing underneath. So anyway, these inputs are toggleable, and you can see that when you make that. There you go. Now my head's in the way again, right? All right, my apologies. I don't rehearse these things. Yeah, and so the idea is that as you fill in, this is a truth table. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 input bits. So there should be 16 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 here, 4 here, 4 here. That's 16. And then right now they're all false. And so the compression of this, you know, this is a fully expanded decision diagram. This would be the reduced ordered binary decision diagram. So this is a ROBDD, or what we would call a BDD here. So basically, since it's false on every possible value of the truth table, at every, you know, I think of this as time moving from left to right, right? So this is, you follow the lowest branch, you get to the point where all the variables are 0. And when you get the highest branch, you get all the variables are 1. So it's as if you were counting in binary, right? This is your most significant digit or bit, and this is your least significant bit, and it goes 0, 1, right? So if I say 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, that's the pattern of the red bit. And the constraints on this thing are actually not that wonderful. And so I don't know why it chooses to put the make it quite that long. I use the constraint layout system, and it just that's what it does. So that's actually not the prettiest drawing that I would draw, but you can see that, you know, it's the red dot, and there's a solid line going to the 1, or the, you know, the 0, or sorry, the 1, the lit up 1, and a dotted line going to the dark 1. So that's the pattern for the red variable. And if you instead, you know, did two darks and 2 lights, 2 darks, 2 lights, you'll get the green variable. Right? I guess I've never actually done that before, because I've never used that as an illustration. Anyway, this is like the closest thing I have to an interactive demonstration of these things. And as you can see, it's not that great, and I'd like to improve it. And so that was kind of, you know, I have many little demonstrations that I'd love to be able to do like this, like what I just did, in my videos, in my scripted videos, and in my and also for debugging Bex itself. Like, I'd like to be able to, when I encounter a problem, be able to draw these kinds of diagrams. You know, I also have, it can draw some diagrams, but I'd love to make them interactive. And so that's kind of what I was, those two things, the interactive debuggability, you know, also for live presentations like these live streams, and the ability to draw and animate the drawings is what I'm really looking for in an animation tool. And there's a couple of them out there. You know, I'm looking at Mathematica. I'm looking at Motion Canvas. There's Manim, obviously. You know, most of what I'm looking to do is I've done some work in this in Godot. Most of what I'm looking to do is programmatic. So as much as I really liked Adobe Flash back in the day for like hand-drawn animation, or like Blender today, those don't seem to be really the tool. You know, they both have scripting engines and they both are programmable, but you know, they're not quite what I'm looking for. And then for Godot, in my experience, like Godot is amazing for creating like fixed animations and like, you know, moving text around and things like that, and like making animations that way. You know, that's how I do pretty much all the animations in you know, the limited animations, like, you know, the text coming down and, you know, between you know, scene breaks or whatever. Titles coming down and things popping up and stuff. So I have that, but when it comes to like animating algorithms and data structures, I've experimented with it, and it's great because you can program things, but I'd really rather have something where like I've got a programming language and I'm writing the program and debugging the program and then also drawing the diagrams. And right now, my two biggest contenders for that are Mathematica and Smalltalk. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally. And you know, I'm exploring the Smalltalk branch of that today. So I'm going to try and paste this in and see if I can get these working again in my my notebook. So that's enough intro and boilerplate. Let's write some code. All right, so this is Glamorous Toolkit. If you missed my talk, well, it's on the channel, and I'll put a link to the discussion I had with Tudor today. That's called it's on G Toolkit, the G Toolkit channel. It was really, really good talk. I'm very, very thankful for him to spend the time with me to give me some insight into this. So I'm not going to recap that here tonight. My brain's a little fried. Maybe I'll watch it again, you know, in the near future, or watch it in the near future, and you know, just compose some thoughts on that. But for now, I just want to get some practice using this, and I want to get these things working again. As I said, these are 2 years old, and as I recall, this was kind of a fast-moving target at the time. So let's find out. All right. So what have I learned since then? Well, I did go through and I set up or imported my Pharo repository, TS Pharo, which is just ts-pharo on GitHub. Pharo is a dialect of Smalltalk on which all this is based. And then let's see. So I go to, so this is showing me the repo. I don't even have a README in here, so it's not all that interesting. How about, I'm not going to make one right now. So packages, I added a new empty Bex package and a baseline of Bex package. And I guess I should add the tangent form. So this is kind of like where I'm just putting my personal stuff. And so what I'm doing right now is these are directories in the Git repository that I'm loading into the Smalltalk image. So Smalltalk maintains you know, it's like importing the file, but also the image is now going to track any changes I make to the code, and it'll allow me to, you know, it'll tell me that something has changed or whatever. For example, this is saying that, you know, I created a database that has a page, and that page is, you know, this structure here. Because if you look, I'm sure there's a way to look at it just as a, oh, come on. See, that's the ICE node. So this is the ICE node for this page, and it's showing me a diff, but it's, yeah, it's not aware that it's a Leopard page. So okay, let me explain what that is. The Leopard is like a documentation system, like a kind of a literate programming tool. And so you can, the suggestion on they have a series of videos called like GT for Glamorous Toolkit in 7 minutes, 7 with a little apostrophe. And so this is the change that I made. So if I change this to, let's just call it block examples. So BLOC is Bloc is the drawing library for Glamorous. And I guess I don't need this. So this is Leopard, and I'm writing about Bloc, right? Okay, and so what I can do is I'll just go ahead and I'll paste this first example in, and then we'll see what that changes. So I want to add a Pharo snippet. And then I'm going to just copy and paste the text, and that may not work because it's, like I said, 2 years old. So let's see what happens. Oops, pasted that in the wrong place, wrong program. All right, so you got some little color hints here. I don't see any errors. Let's say BL circle is kind of interesting. Maybe that's the default. I'm wondering if maybe that's like the default. Basic new. I'm not really sure where to see that yet, but I'm also not sure how to close these things. Click out of them? No. Hopefully that removes the. Oh yeah, that's removing the reference. Okay, maybe just click on the side here. Yes, okay. Oh, maybe you click this, right? Duh, okay. Is deprecated, okay. That's what that means. Is deprecated, comment, references. All right, well, okay, so that's one thing that's changed, is the circle is now deprecated. And I bet if I click on this button right here, and I bet if I control and do it, it'll pop up a tab up there. That's my hope. Yes, it did. Okay, so it's deprecated in favor of BL circle geometry, I guess. Yeah. Okay. That's all. All right. So I'm a little confused why that's showing. Let's see. Like why that's showing BL circle instead of the name of my page. I guess it's whatever the focus is on. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure it's not my significant other. All right, not a problem. Don't know who that was. All right, so I guess we change that to word geometry and everything will be good. Okay. And same thing here. And this says, okay, so this is indicating that there's a problem here. By not, it's a suggestion. Okay, so. Okay. All right, so anyway, let's run it and then inspect it. And that should draw the picture. So there we go. That's what I started with. That's what I got now. So, and then I think if I do this and I hit inspect, it draws it down here. And then that becomes like part of the book now. Yeah, but there's other ways to do that. I'm not going to stop and figure out how to do that. I'm going to learn as I go along. I wonder if I so if I close this now, this should be a persistent database, right? There's no like save button. I think that's just saved. And if I just close this and I go back to Leopard here, and I click on this, and here it is. Okay, but it did not save the thing. Okay, so I'm guessing there's probably some way to. I know. What does that do? Select the view model. Let's do it like that. I feel weird, like breaking the. I don't know what good Smalltalk style is. It seems a little weird to break it up like that. I guess I would be inclined to format it like that. All right, so what does this even say? It says, made that rainbow looking thing. This. I bet if I just, okay, I want to get rid of this. Maybe if I just point it that way and I do it, okay, that went away, but it didn't. Okay, I don't know how to get rid of it, but I know it will get rid of itself if I if I close it and come back. And so that's something I just need to learn. Maybe I'll make a list of questions, right, that I will take note of. So this is add a new page. Yes, add a new page, and I'm going to call this GT questions. How do I close? How do I close an inspected example in a Leopard page? Maybe if I look at it again, it'll be obvious. Like I would expect to see this little close button, but I don't see it. So, I know if I put an element there, then I should be able to put like root here, right? Not add child that is already added to another element. Oh, all kinds of windows just popped up. I'm not going to drag them over. All right, so let's close. Target element must be attached to the scene graph. Okay, so bad things are happening every time I move the mouse over this. I'm going to just close this again. And I'm going to open this. Okay, I guess did it save that or not? That's code root. What is root? Is a BL element. And A is the colors. Okay, so I think if I just took this and I changed it to be another kind of element, I don't know how to do that. I just delete the element. I think I already have this because this. I was making it. I don't know if I have the one I just tried to delete. It's a new element, and I'm going to paste that source code in, and then I'm going to run it, and then I'm going to refresh. Okay. Now I have. I believe this is Markdown. So if I say like, yeah, if I say rainbow example, or what would you call these? That's more like rainbow circle example. Rainbow circle example. Okay. All right. So the trick was to create a element, and then that's an element. So element is the fundamental unit of block. So when, like in the code here. No, I don't want that button. I want this button. The other day I was thinking this was a scroll bar. This is a well, it's a handle. On some things, when you pull it up, you get a like. Sometimes when you're looking at an inspector, like if you alt click on something and you have an inspector here, and you pull this up, it's separate. It's a handle that separates this little REPL area from the object view. I guess that's specific to inspector, so it's just in general, it's a divider. Okay, so all right, so yeah, I guess this is the divider between the cells. So it's dividing this cell from that cell. What I want is this button, and then I get another divider. Or that work? I just hide this now? Yeah. That's a little weird. I'm low on screen real estate. Well, I guess I can slide this down and then these are a little hard to click, these little it's hard to grab them. Okay, so what I was saying, something about elements. So BL element is block element. So BL Smalltalk has a concept of packages for controlling. When you go into a browser here, you have so the coder is the the replacement of the evolution of a Smalltalk browser. So you got the package hierarchy, and so if I click on all these baseline things, baselines are like I think they're like tools for helping you load the system, basically. There sure are a lot of them. What would I click on? So it's Mac something. Mac MySQL, right? So that's a category, and then you've got classes and so on. But what I was going to say is that the packages are not namespaces. So there's one gigantic global namespace for classes, and so you tend to see prefixes for things. So yeah, there's no names, no local namespaces, as far as I know, in Smalltalk. All right, so everything that is related to block has a BL prefix on it, and like when I do my stuff for Bex, I'm probably going to call it BEX something for every class. Okay, so right, so the point was that I'm making elements, and BL element is a block element. And so that's like the root of the hierarchy. And I bet if I browse this class, and there's a bunch of a bunch of different things that are subclasses of it. Okay, enough of that. I'm kind of, yeah, okay. Kind of surprised there's not like a tab just to show all the subclasses. But I guess there's this, and then you could, if you wanted that, you could implement it yourself. Which is kind of the point of this. You add whatever tools you want. The point of moldable development. All right, so that's my rainbow circles example. Let's paste the next one in. We have a new element now. I'm thinking right now, you can't actually, like, how do you actually know when you see a box like this? How do you know what kind it is? I guess you could alt-click on it. Well, I wonder if you just inspect the thing by itself. Oh, an undefined object. Control-Shift-Alt on this thing? Yeah, okay, there you go. And then you can, well, you can at least see that's an element, but LED snippet container, tool content tree element, page tool element. That's a snippet container element, right? This is a content tree. Oh, I was going to make the font bigger too. And so scaling. So I noticed you can't type scaling the UI. You have to type scale the UI. So it's an exact text search, and there's not like a stemmer with an index in here. And that's something I was thinking about maybe trying to do. That makes that font just a little bit bigger. I'll go ahead and make it like 1.5. And then, actually, I think what I was going to do is do 1.2. Then you can just make the text bigger. Something like that. All right. Hopefully that's readable. All right. I guess you could inspect this and see it. That's neat. You can get to just play the block down for it. All right, block down, markdown. That's not the markdown I would generate for a chunk of Smalltalk code, but okay. Like I would think it would say something like, you know, backtick, 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 Pharo or something. All right. I'm going to proceed to the next example here. I'm going to trust that this is a. Oh, hang on. It is. Oh, that was not the right thing to do. It was, okay. That is the right thing to do. You can just. You can. Oh, that I see that there's a handler that makes that pink. That's what that bit down here is. That's nice. So you can zoom into a picture. Okay. So I'm going to assume this is also an element that I can zoom into because I see this and I see this button that lets me browse the code or not. So I think that's fair to say. I'll paste the third one in because it's also a little rainbow. And then I want to finish with the. I keep doing that. I keep pasting it into the program I'm copying it from. All right, so this one we run. Oops. If I refresh it, that should show the picture. Okay, so this one, let's hide the code for that, and then add a text up here. We'll give it a little header, and we'll say rainbow. That was rainbow circles. This is a rainbow example. That's a silly name. All right. And now let's make this bigger. Oh, I'm in the inspector mode. That's why it's I think difficult to. No, it's just difficult. Difficult to resize because I'm scrolling past the bottom of the. I'm not complaining, by the way. I just like there's on the off chance they watch this again, that's some user testing. One thing you can always contribute as a user is your confusion. As a new user, is your confusion. Um, since they took the time to watch it, I'm providing unfiltered criticism. I hope it's not taken as complaints. Important. Okay, so why didn't this work this time? So I think it did work, right? Yeah. Some kind of auto sizing would be nice. And like maybe if I put another thing down here, so another text for the bits example. Oops. Okay, so what does the code for that thing say? Now that worked. So browse the code. I'm sure. I bet if I click on it. Oh, okay. All right, so let's. I guess I was trying to see the code, like maybe make the code bigger in a bigger window all of a sudden. That do. Oh, that shows the variable values. That's interesting. The current state, I guess. Okay. So my thought here is, do I still have circles in here? No, I don't have circles in this one. Draggable card that says rainbow. Oh, there's the rainbow. Yay! Yes, so this was building up to the thing I want to do, which is the drag and drop. So in order to make something draggable, I have make a new element that has a rectangle. Okay. So make a new element. Send it this message. Your geometry is now a rectangle geometry. Your size is now this. Your background is now this. Your border is a stroke, which I think I defined up here somewhere. Yeah, this kind of stroke. And then add an event handler on mouse over event. Change the background to light gray. Okay, that's nice. And then on mouse out event, color turns back to white. Okay. Add event handler, pull handler. So I guess that's dragging. That says, okay, disallow out of bounds. Okay. So I'm guessing pull handler is just, you're now draggable. Ability drag, pull any arbitrary element within its direct parent by pressing position change. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. I don't want to save the document. I want to go back up here and do that. That's going to take me some time to get used to. I mean, it's perfectly perfectly sensible. It's just I'm not used to seeing that in the middle of a document. But it's really cool that you have it. All right, so make a new thing. That's the constructor. Nope, it was this one that I was clicking on. And then you send that message. Now that you've created the new one, you send it to message disallow out of bounds. Okay. And then I'm still having trouble parsing when I haven't fully grasped the syntax tree, like the parenthesization of Smalltalk. But I believe, if I remember correctly, what I heard this whole thing will be parsed first and then passed to this guy. And if you want to, so if you want to send something with an argument, and then you send the argument, and you don't, and then you want to send that an argument, you have to put this message in parentheses, I believe. Well, in this particular case, the add event handler is being sent to the. Oh, how do I make this wider? This go away. Oh, I can't make this wider. Interesting. Why can't I make that wider? I made it wider. And this will make it wider. I guess when it's not maximum. Okay, whatever. What was I saying? Disallow out of bounds. Right. So I'm making a BL element new. So take this object, take this class, send it the new message. So now I have an instance of the object. And then every one of these messages is going to I guess this the result of this stack of messages, right? Because I mean, obviously, I'm not sending messages to BL element; those would be class methods. So I'm at they have to be going to the instance. Right, so it parses this, and then it sends this message to that thing, and then it sends this message to that thing. Well, first it went in here, and then this. I'm not convinced those are necessary. Unless now the 65 is going to get the background message? No. Okay, so yeah, that was not necessary. That was unnecessary parentheses. Then the background is color white, border is stroke, add event hands are on. BL mouse over event. And so now this message is all one message. So add event hands are on do. Add event hands are on do is one message with two arguments. So every time there's a colon, there's an argument. And then the semicolon ends this message. I'm sure this is obvious to anybody who knows Smalltalk, but I'm imagining that unless you came here because you're a Glamorous Toolkit fan and you watch those videos, you don't know Smalltalk, because I mostly talk about J and Rust, and so anybody watching this channel probably expect me to be talking about J and Rust. So I'm also refreshing my own memory here. All right, add event handler is being sent to the element. So all these are being sent to the element. That's hopefully again, I don't know how a Smalltalker would arrange this code, but that's how I chose to arrange it, and it makes sense to me. Although it would make more sense if the font weren't quite so big. Oh, not gonna, yeah. So, okay. I did make the font bigger for this, and that's how it is. Now my head is covering it up again. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, then add this child with the rainbow thing, and then this is all in parentheses. So if I click on that, does it? Yeah, okay. It doesn't so much match the parentheses as it fills in it shades the parts that are matched, which is kind of nice. Okay. And I believe this is an array, so it's just an array of attributes. I believe that's an array. Okay. So let's see what this does. So this is again the thing that's going to 2 by do is not optimized. 1 to color size. Okay, do. Oh, I see. So that there's two. I'm making a range here, and then I think it's saying that there's actually. So this is a method called to, and then after I apply this refactoring, yeah, it's one. This is a symbol, so it's a symbol that's called to colon do colon. To colon do colon. I don't know how they pronounce that, but I guess I just click on this. And yeah, now it's one symbol. And if I click, yeah, see the arrow isn't here, it's over here. And it's called to do. Okay, so that's nice. I like it when tools, like Clippy does that for Rust. Teaches you about the language and shows you like style points. I like that. All right, so there we go. That's the second one. I guess what else do we say? Instead of a circle, it's an analyst sector. That's the geometry. Background is a color from an array called colors. Yeah. Oh, that's this. So this is an array of symbols. So Oscar, the guy from another guy from Fink, did the 7-minute videos, and he's got one that's Smalltalk in 7 minutes, and I did watch it, and I should watch it again. I think this is called a literal array. Well, I guess we can find out. Like, what is this? Let's just inspect it. So Control P to print it. Control select it and say Control G to inspect it. An array, okay, and then this one down here is also an array of one item. And I think the idea was that if you would change this to show that, then instead of one item, this would be all those items. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I don't know what I pressed. I think now if I hit Control E is what I hit. I don't know what that did. Okay. Okay, it changed my source code quite a bit. And that popped up a bug thing. Oh, I only want to do this. Yeah, that's an array of 4 items. So this is basically a quote, a literal array of symbols, right? And so to actually evaluate it, you put the curly braces in there. Okay. All right, that's enough of that. And then these are blocks, right? These are like lambdas. This is a function basically, or it's a expression that takes an argument and it gets evaluated later. So yeah. All right, so that's Smalltalk syntax in a nutshell. That's a terrible tour of it. It does help to, when you're learning something, to verbalize what you think you know. All right, so let's add a new element down here, and let's put in the bits one. So I believe this should this would have built on that pull handler thing. And let's see what we have. Copy this, and this time we'll actually paste it in the right place. Boom, and we will refresh. And then let's make it here. I'm just dragging down and hoping it works. Okay. All right, so the idea is that you'd be able to pick these up and move them. And now we're getting into the interface I actually do want to build for Vex, right? Something like this, where you've got probably there would be something up here from which you could drag these, like a I'm trying to think what a word would be, like a toolbar for, like a template, right, from which you could drag them. So you could drag bits out of the the box, and you have bits to play with. And if you click on them once, you get you toggle them from 0 to 1. Probably they should actually say 0 or 1, or at least that should be a style that's possible to use. And so then now you can make all kinds of presentations like this. Like, what are the ways to arrange 1 bit? Well, you can do that or that. What are the ways to arrange 2 bits? Well, you can do not arrange, that's not the right word, but what are the signals you can get with two bits? Well, you can get these, and then you can get this one that's up there, and then you can get this one right here. That's all of them. Then you might say, well, what's a natural order to put them in? And then you get to what I was saying earlier about the style where you have one row that's alternating on and off, and one that is alternating on and off, but twice as slowly, and so on. And so you can do all kinds of things once you have these on the screen, and then so ideally the next step up would be you would get like a vector of these, like a rectangle that had a box for every one, like something like that truth table I was showing a little while ago. Here, something like this, where you would have these. You would have this as like one object that you could pick up and move around, and we call that a truth table. Just any row of 2 to the n bits, just this one row. And I guess I was thinking at the time that maybe this would indicate that it's a like interactive, and maybe see like I don't know. I haven't fully fleshed out the visual language that I'm hoping to go for, because I definitely want like when you draw a binary decision diagram, you tend to make the actually just like this in the top part, the leaves are the constants 0 and 1. Sometimes they're written as top and bottom, so like a T and an upside down T, up tack and down tack. And so bottom is false and top is true. So the T is true, and then the upside down T is a false. And they're constants, so those would be probably like one shape or whatever. So in a binary decision diagram, in like all the BDD literature, those are generally written as like squares with those symbols. And so these two should probably be squares. But what you wouldn't do is you wouldn't be thinking of them as inputs. So I don't know what distinguishes what should it look like when it's an input versus when it's a constant. I don't know yet. And also these are inputs. Like in a binary decision diagram, these are inputs. Whereas in an abstract syntax tree, which is like the graph representation of the expression that you're working with, I tend to think of the intermediate nodes tend to be like operators, like functions, like and or and XOR and things like that. And then the leaves tend to be constants and variables. And in which case, then I was thinking of drawing the inputs as boxes. So I guess kind of what I'm going for is like, well, I don't know. Like I need some kind of distinction in the language where a particular look and feel means this is an input, and another look and feel means this is a constant. Maybe those aren't distinct concepts. I don't know. Because I'm not making interactive, I mean, like I'm not like I'm a video is not interactive, right? Like a video you can't click on the video and do things, right? So there would be, you could download the software and try it for yourself, but the video wouldn't necessarily have me moving a mouse and recording the mouse and clicking on things and so on. So I don't know what the language I want is. So I have to design this visual language for like for the things I want to tell. And so that's why I guess that's what I'm shooting for here is to start prototyping that. And maybe the syntax is different based on the kind of diagram I'm doing. I don't know. Anyway, so let's actually look at the code here. So let's see, how does this thing work? I imagine it's pretty much like the other thing, right? With a bunch of BL pulls and stuff. So let's see. Excuse me. All right, so this is again a comment. I learned that. A bit color is so I guess this would be an array of two things. So if I say bit color, do it and inspect. Yep. So it's an array of two things. Oh, I see. So inside these braces, every time you do a command which ends with a period, then that introduces a new thing in the array. So a period is like a separator. All right, so color from hex string, color from hex string. Stroke is a BL border with a paint, and the color is black. I don't think I need parentheses for that, because I think this all gets evaluated and it gets sent to paint, and then that gets sent to BL border. Let's see. Is that true? Yes, because you're constructing one message. I believe that's true. So I believe I can do this and run it. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, maybe that makes it clearer, but I don't think a Smalltalk would write it that way. So, we're not going to find out. But all right, so now a new bit is I'm making a function here. Yeah, so I did all these in these little playgrounds, or playground is like basically a Lepeter page. Lepeter again being the database, the document database, and so a playground is just an anonymous Lepeter page, basically. And so rather than making objects out in the world like you might normally do, I'm just like writing a script basically inside of here. So maybe going forward, I might actually create objects in the system. All right, but we have. So anyway, this is a function that I'm defining, and it looks like it. Where does it end? Well, my problem is that the text is long, and so the wrapping is weird. Right? That one didn't need the words. This doesn't need the parentheses. Bit color at. This needs parentheses because otherwise it would read as background at. So it needs bit color at, and then the question is which of these gets evaluated first. I don't remember the rule, so let's see what happens if we do this. 1 plus val. So that's either going to give me, it's either going to work, or it's going to give me an error saying that a bit color plus a val doesn't make any sense. Let's see what it says. Like it worked. All right, so then I think we said this was a BL circle geometry, and that line means it's deprecated. Border stroke size 32 by 32. This makes a point. So this is a message that you pass to 32 that takes an argument. So the symbol things take an argument. Things that look like a operator, like a symbolic ASCII character are the word isn't dyadic, and but they're dyadic messages. They're binary messages. Add event handler. Okay, so we have each element that we're creating. We're initializing the value to 0. Oh, that's interesting. It's a closure. So because I'm creating, since I didn't create a class, I'm using a closure. Okay, and then Right, I'm creating a closure. This is a closure. It does not take arguments because they don't have a little colon in front of them. So these are just local variables, and then the val is being set to 0 by default, and the element is being set to this. And then, why is the background 1 plus val? Oh, I see, because this is slot 1 and this is slot 2. Because apparently Smalltalk is terrible. Sorry. Yeah, I don't like it when it makes me sad when numbers start at 1 instead of 0. But okay. I'll get over it. I'm just playing. The terrible thing. Yeah, that's rude when people get all snarky like that. Just to be clear, that was a joke. I'm not serious about this. I do greatly prefer starting at 0 for, whatever. That's what I'm used to. That's what I think is more sensible. But I'm not gonna go home and leave in a fit because of that. All right, so add event handler, pull handler. So that's the drag and drop stuff, and then add this one on mouse up event. So click handler. Yeah, I guess there's I bet. Like I was thinking, maybe should there be a like a click handler that just exists, but probably like what would it do except encapsulate this part of the message, right? So probably not, but we can see if it exists by saying browse class, and then click here. Nope. And click here for one thing. Slide handler. Scroll handler. Pull handler. Oh, I bet that's for finger control, touch control. Pull and slide. Panel and zoomable example. That's exciting. Overlay examples. All right. Well, I'm going to guess for now. Like it doesn't matter if there is a click event. I don't. It doesn't seem like it would buy you much. Wow. I lost my context there. All right. So I should be. The reason I lost my context is because it is in this window right here, and I need to go back over here. So things grow to the right, and then as you keep going off to the right, then it scrolls away. So you can click that and it comes back. Whenever a window pops up, so I don't know why this happened. And coder element must be non-nil. I think that happened when I clicked this little thing down here. But for one of these over here. Anyway, okay, so so this is the mouse. This is the click handler. You see now this one takes an event, or it takes some e thing, which I'm presuming is the event because I ignore it. So, and then and then we reassign val to 1 minus val, and then again bit color 1 plus that. Okay, like if this were a class, I might factor this out to a method or something like that. But all right, so then root is now we're creating the scene, right? So now we've created the bit color and the stroke that we're using in the scene. So these are just data. We've created a function for creating the bits. So what would probably normally be a constructor and a class in Smalltalk, but because I'm using just this little script here, it's something else. I don't have enough horizontal space. I really don't like that. I wish I could make this bigger. Oh, now I can make it bigger. That's interesting. Right? And it's just because I made my font bigger and the window smaller, so it's like, weird. Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't let me move this earlier. Or it would let me move it like 1 pixel and then it would snap back even though there was nothing over here. Okay, so All right, so there's the end of the assignment to newbit, and now we have the root. So BL element new, and we're going to return this. And I guess I just gave it a name so I could inspect it. You probably could just pass this right without the name. But BL element new, and then the size is again this. I don't need the parentheses for. The border is a stroke, and the background is this color. And here again, I do need the parentheses because otherwise it'd be background from hex string. And then that's the end of that. That's the end of the root definition. And then here's that same thing. It should be 0. So let's just do this manually. Just make sure I've internalized what it was telling me to do. That was it. There are no looping constructs in Smalltalk, right? There's no syntax for loops and anything like that. It's just you send a message. So if you want to do something 8 times, I guess. Okay, there are 8 of them. Yeah, so 0 to 7. So this is to do is a message that is being sent to the 0. And it's telling you how many steps to do, or just start it whatever number you are, you being the receiver of the message, 0, and then count upward until you get to this number, and then do the block. And so then the block is this thing and then pass that number to the block. And so, I guess I need the name so that I can add it to the. So I close over the name so that I can add the child to the root. And then I call newbit and I tell it and I need the parentheses because relocate would match with add child. So, and I think it would be clearer to put it like this. And then here, Smalltalk executes left to right. So this is you don't actually need these, but I think that's clearer. I think it's clearer to do it that way because otherwise it's gonna look like it's 50 at 50 and stuff. These are unnecessary parentheses that I will retain because they look clear to me. All right. I wonder if there's a method called times. Yeah, times repeat. Because then it wouldn't need the I. Oh, but I do need the I. Let's see. Does it take an argument? Yeah. But what else we got? Times collect. That would make a list of things. I don't need this. Add children. If you could say, I'm just kind of like imagining something here. Root add children. I want a version of that takes the. Oh yeah, 1 2 7 to collect. So 0 to 7. or you could say 1 to 8. 1 to 8. Nope. 1 to 8. Collect. And then colon I. And now there's no root. You don't need the root add child because we have it out here. Root add children like this. 1 to 8 collect. Or we could even put all this on one line, right? 1 to 8 collect. And then over here, new bit value relocate I times 50 plus 50, and then we'll do 100. Dot. Oh, something's not right. What happened here? I went to 8 collect. Message not implemented. What did I see here? Just a minute ago, I said root. No, I said, what did I say? Like 8 times collect. When I saw that, oh, okay. So this is what I was trying to get this. 1 to self. Oh, I need the parentheses. Okay, so I say 1 to 8, and then you need another set of parentheses here. So 1 to 8 collect. The root add children 1 to 8 collect. I new bit value relocate. So now I should have 2 rows of these when I refresh it. Yeah. And I said 1, so they're offset like that. All right, so now I have 16 of them. Let's make them white. Right? You can't, because you can't send them a message because it's a closure. Okay, so whatever. I could add a parameter to NewBit, but I'm not going to. Yeah, you can. Why not? So we'll call it v0, or init val with a colon here. Init val. And then you need another pipe, and then you put your local variables. I don't know what the style is like that, but okay, so that's that. And so then we say val equals init val, and then here we got to say that is value. We say value 0, and then value 1. And then I need a semicolon here because that ends this message. Oh, but didn't like that. It is not implemented. Because that would be sending the message to NewBit or to the closure. I would have to do this, which I don't know if I like or not, but whatever. And get rid of the semicolon. It shouldn't matter whether I like it or not because I'm not I haven't really internalized what Smalltalk is yet, so I'm not my aesthetics don't matter because I haven't learned the culture yet. If that makes any sense. You can't you don't judge people by, well, I mean, I don't know. One thought of ethics or whatever is you don't judge people or whatever by your ethic, by your morals, but by their morals, right? If they adhere to their own moral conduct, they're a moral person. That's a sensible idea or not, but maybe it makes sense when we're talking about aesthetics in programming language. Not that I follow the aesthetics of any programming language that but that didn't work. I didn't hit for this, right? There we go. Okay, that's what I was expecting. All right, now I'm a Smalltalk super pro. I can go go work for Chrysler or something. My understanding is that Chrysler was the place where Agile extreme programming, Kent Beck worked there, and his team, and they wrote the extreme programming book. Which Smalltalk had a heyday back. Like the original wiki was all a bunch of Smalltalk developers, or it came out of the Smalltalk community. It was a Portland pattern repository, the C2 wiki, and they were collecting design patterns. Right, so I hide this with this. All right, so now I have this document. Oh, let's hide all these. It says block examples. All right, and then now I wait for this to turn green, which it has. So now I go to my GitHub repository, and I've added some questions. And they're pages, and they're not being shown as pages. So, so maybe at some point I might try to improve the look here to actually show the page. But basically, I've added two things, and I'm just going to commit them. Actually, can I do this? Yeah. So let's add. Let's not add the questions. Let's just add the examples. So add block examples. All right, and it has been about 2 hours, so it is. Well, actually, I think I started quite late. It's probably been about an hour, right? That's an hour and 17 minutes according to my clock here. I think I'm going to wrap it up. This is a good stopping point. This is for saving the README. I should probably say, I'll add a README. So this is work with Pharo and Glamorous Toolkit. Miscellaneous experiments with Pharo and Glamorous Toolkit. And then let's commit that. README. And push that to GitHub. And then let's see what happens in GitHub. Panda Storm. Yes, Pharo. I just want to make sure that's all. I got this all set up right. It looked like it worked. And then just now added a README, and here we go. Add block examples, add leftover database. This is all stuff I did earlier today. I didn't. There's nothing in these things. I'm just following the tutorial. Add README. All right, the README was simple. There's a block examples. So this is the Lepeter page. So it really is a database. It's a JSON database, and then it's you're storing an actual data structure there. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I would say like the fact that it does it, like it saves these files with these weird names. I find that a little off-putting because I feel like I'm locked in a little. I mean, obviously it's just JSON. I can parse the thing, and like it actually is rich stuff. So, I mean, what am I gonna read it with other than Glamorous Toolkit? So, I don't know. They maintain their blog, think.com. They maintain their blog with this tool, as far as I can tell. So they're publishing these things. That's, that's me. Okay. Yeah, thank you for doing that, by the way. And I wonder if I'll wind up in the actual repo. Oh, that's weird. But like some of these are actually in the in the book, and so I'm assuming that you can see it in the URL. They are these are coming out of Leopard. That's kind of cool. If I were to publish my stuff, I am looking at this as a possible tool for maintaining a website. May or may not use it for that purpose, because I don't know how much. I might just use like Markdown or something. But if I did, one thing I would do is like not put these things in there. I'd rather have clean URLs and that kind of thing. It's kind of nitpicky, isn't it? I don't know that it really matters, but like that's just what I would very much prefer. Anyway, so I verified that GitHub worked, or the push worked to GitHub. I guess I'm in business, and I guess I'm going to wrap it up here. So thanks for watching. This was some examples of using Bloc in Pharo, and or at least the Glamorous. So Bloc was actually made for Glamorous. Like the whole idea or part of the idea of Glamorous is that there's one scene tree here, and everything is made in that one graphics toolkit, and that toolkit is called Bloc. And I guess Brick is the next layer up that does all these little widgets like buttons and stuff. But anyway, that's a look at Bloc. It's gotten me up to speed a little bit, a little practice with Smalltalk, and I've gotten as far as in terms of my goal for Bex, I've gotten as far as reviving this code from 2 years ago, where I could draw individual bits and toggle them and move them around. And the next step will be to work with Mondrian. Mondrian is a graph library that actually does the connections between things. So you'll be able to drag this, and there could be a line that connects it to another bit, and you can define the relationships between these things based on your actual data. So stay tuned for that. Might be tomorrow, might be sometime soon. I don't plan these things too far in advance, so an episode in the near future will be about that. And my days for streaming are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I don't always stream. I'm going to try to stream a little bit more this week and see what happens. So hopefully tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And if not, I'll see you when I see you. Thanks for watching, and talk to you again soon.